Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is 10 a.m. Eastern Time on a lovely Friday, January 6th, 2023. And welcome to the first episode of Morning Meta, where we're going to take a look back at some more hot button topics and discussions and just kind of central points of interest across Grand Theft Auto roleplay over the past handful of days or so. I got a good couple of topics to talk about today. I'm always open to discussion with chat. If chat has questions, may not jump into answering a question as quickly as like I would on my normal broadcast, but I got my eyes on you guys. Don't worry. Let me just get my show notes going here, and I got some links as well to provide some context if you guys want. And I feel like we can dive into some of the more minor stuff. So, if you guys did not see, and of course, this is not the like hot off the presses news. One thing I did think that was good that did happen in the past handful of days is there was a update to the forums. There's a Nopixel general rules and guidelines on the Nopixel forums, and they just it's just a big forum post that management tacks on to when something new comes up or when they need to go back and edit a role. And something was added. This was actually back on December 28th. It's actually a lot older than I thought it was. Where they are going to start handing out Prio reductions upon bans and warning points, which I think is a really good change. I think people like a big thing that people like to say, a big phrase everybody likes to say on the servers, to fuck around and find out. I think it's good because there's a lot of people who will just kind of take those bans on the chin. They come back and they get right back in the server, and for some people, a lot of these minor bans, they almost seem like an actual vacation, especially for like content creators who are on the grind set. And it gives like a reason for their name to kind of pop up on Twitter a bit more, pop up on the Reddit, and gain them some what's the word I'm looking for? Some more clicks, generally, right? Which isn't a bad thing. Right, but getting banned and doing stuff to get banned over and over and over again, it's nice to see that there's something server side to help dissuade people from just doing bannable shit for content, right? So the breakdown is that any user who receives a ban will have their priority reduced by 1 for each ban received. Any user who accumulates 20 warning points will have their priority reduced to a maximum of 3. And any user who accumulates 30 warning points will have their priority fully removed until it's earned back. I like the phrasing on that, earned back. And those who don't know what warning points are, they're exactly how they sound. You get warning points from an admin. And once you hit a certain amount there, you get the boot a little bit there. That's a bit of a minor little thing coming up. I think it was overall well received. I didn't see anybody kicking and screaming quite because of it. I think that helping, because like Nopixel's in a weird spot because they're very much, yes, it is a content server, but it's still an RP server. That's why the content is there. I think doing more and working more towards reeling back towards RP is always going to be a plus in my eyes. Speaking of reeling back towards RP, we can dive into Benny's getting removed. If you didn't know, this is also circling back to Nopixel. They removed the Benny's on Power Street as well as the Benny's that's up by the vault, and I thought it was just because they were tired of people breaking off to repair during chases. I didn't realize everybody up until last night when I was doing a little more research Did not realize that everybody was referring to a specific chase. It looked like members of Mandem were doing an S plus boost, and the target vehicle that was being boosted needed to get repaired. Need to get a Benny's. And when you have the cops on you and you can't necessarily VCB them, you know, visual content broken, and, you know, lose the cops essentially, that becomes a difficult task. Usually people resort to getting the car in there, and then they have like a bus or a bunch of cars come out front and block the main gate. Talking about the major Benny's, right? The big Benny's on Power Street. And actually, I did find a clip of it. We're not going to go through the whole clip here, but this summarizes pretty much all of it. This comes from Moosetaffy's clips channel. We'll go ahead and swap over real quick.
Do you want me to ram here? Do you want me to ram here?
Go the Brioso basher. Brioso.
So there they have. That's typically what happens. They have a bus set up. They go and rent a bus from the rental place right around the corner. They have it set up so that when the boost car comes in, the bus just goes right in front and blocks cops.
That's Nova, the Brioso basher.
120. They're trying to end my life.
Shout out the window that you're the Brioso basher, saying making a.
I gotta run up against the bus, bro.
I'm gonna get a run. I'm gonna get a big run.
Are you close? Are you close?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Look
Close
it.
it, close it.
Close, he's closed. Let me know when you want to come out.
I need cash.
So there it is.
626.
They tried to get the bus in the way in time, but this trooper charger here ends up weaseling in. And now they're ramming the car out of the spot. The driver's yelling that he needs cash. He doesn't have enough cash to repair it. And this overall becomes a total clusterfuck of a situation.
They start shooting, bro.
Oh, 626. Are you giving me cash?
He's yelling
or
out
no?
his lucky number, his PayPal for the day.
Look at this fucking idiot.
So now,
Cash. She said she
I think this is Patar. Now Patar's just running out in between two cars smashing into each other.
You're literally running a man over.
And hands him 5K.
Ram him, Patar, ram him, Patar. Thank you. I'm stuck, by the way, because I'm repairing.
And now the bus is failing and more cops are getting in.
Ram him again.
I got out. I'm coming back in.
I need you in. Yeah, ram him out the
And
way.
it just becomes absolute bumper cars in here. And what ends up ultimately happening is that the car is able to snag the Benny's repair, and then the server mechanic of Benny's repairing the car happens no matter where they're sitting. No matter where they're sitting, right? And then after some more bumper cars, the S plus car gets out. Then after a little more bumper cars, Patar gets out as well. What I don't know about you guys, but when I go and Benny's a vehicle, I using the imagination aspect of roleplay, I imagine that somebody is still physically there touching up my car. Yeah, I'm fixing a shit ton of auto body damage in like 30 seconds, repairing engine damage in 30 seconds. I get that, but that's how things move in a video game, right? But still, you have to take away what you can in RP. So I still imagine that it's a dude named Benny or some people who work for Benny's, you know, like locals, like how we have local EMS, like how we have you know, local versions of in-player things across a server, right? So this was just it just doesn't make sense, especially because the car is getting tossed around, and then just because you sat in like one general area of this building and were able to get the Bennies off, and you get tossed around and you get repaired, and then they end up getting away. I don't know what the end result of the boost was. I don't know if they end up getting caught anyways. But essentially, this is what everybody is saying got Bennies removed. I don't know if that's coming from management or admins, but I'll say it. I can see it. And I honestly think it's a good change. Personally, for me, I would have liked to see changes to how Benny's works instead. Maybe, I don't think making it take longer would have been it, but like, let's say like, because Benny's is like a legitimized business, right? Like I don't see Benny's as like a criminal mechanic, right? I see it as a civ mechanic. Maybe it could have been role played out that the police and Benny's work together, and now Benny's checks your license plate before you go in, and if your license plate is flagged as a stolen vehicle, then you can't Benny's it. You have to go get it unflagged by the police if you have a wrongful flag, or so on and so forth. Fake plate it, things like that. I think that would have been a better change, but I haven't heard anybody kick and scream about this as well. I still think it's a good change. And I like that it's going to be driving people more over to the actual player run businesses. Hayes, Autos, Harmony, Iron Hog. I think driving more people to do more player interactive things is always a good change. And also they made changes to repair kits. I think they took away advanced repair kits. Don't quote me on that, but I do know that repair kits now are, I think, a little bit lighter. They're at 10 weight, and they also are multi-use. And they do basically a basic Benny's repair. And I'm also being informed, I guess this was seen on Occam's channel. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it on my cop. I don't know where the secret. I guess there's a secret repair kit. More on that. I think the change is good. I think it's fantastic. And then also, but on top of that, the government employees still have bennies. So when an officer needs to quickly repair at MRPD or Beaverbush, they have that. EMS still have their bennies at the firehouse and at Simone Memorial Hospital. I think that's the Benny's repair kit you're talking about. Does a full Benny's repair, but it takes a bit longer to do in a regular repair kit. Okay, that might have been the repair kit I saw Pez using, because I saw on Pez's stream he went to repair a vehicle and he used a repair kit, but it didn't say anything different. It just looked like a normal repair kit. But it took like 7, with a circle with a number, like the 7 successful one of those to do it. He didn't like fail it either. It took forever. It was crazy. Obviously, government employees, there's a reason they still have their bennies. It's because it makes sense. Especially for like the police who have to keep up with the server all the freaking time. Continuous. They can't just go to autos every 30 minutes, you know? And not gonna lie to you, if the cops ended up going to autos every 30 minutes, I think that would cause like a material economy crash. Money got his from autos, and Artorias explained it. I'll have to dig that up. I'll throw it in the I'll find the clip of that and I'll throw it in the show notes on YouTube. All right. But those are, that's what's going on with Benny's on Nopixel, and those are my thoughts on that. To put a little highlight on another roleplay server, tomorrow at noon Eastern, for only 24 hours, whitelist applications will be open for New Day RP. So if you guys are wondering or want to explore a journey over there, those will be open. They only ever open their whitelist applications for a handful of months. I don't play over there. I'll probably send an application over. From what I've heard, it's just a lot more like serious RP focused over there. So if you're looking for something like that, that's where you can go ahead and pop on over to. You guys can sign up those applications. I believe you'll be able to sign up at newdayrp.com. They might have a different link tomorrow. What else do I have on my little sheet of notes here for you today? And then DW was also released from the Nopixel dev team. I tried to watch a few videos on that. It seemed like it all initially started out as a bit internal debate. Koil has actually gone ahead and gone in depth talking about it. There's a few YouTube videos out. There's a few where they're only like 5 minutes, and then there's a few where they're like 20 minutes. But as it stands right now, DW is not a part of Nopixel anymore. That's a bit old news at this point, though. That'll be about a week going. The cliff notes, the spark notes, I should say, that comes from that conversation that Koil had there, was that it just it seemed like DW was ultimately not doing anything, that another dev was doing all the work for him. And then he was just bank clearing, making money off of the paid Prio system that Nopixel has. He was like constantly having debates, disagreements with things about PD, saying that only 2 people in PD actually roleplay. And also having issues with CG, which I think people have. People definitely have issues with CG. It's nice that Koil and some other members of CG are transparent when it comes to the meme that, oh god, CG did this, that means that X rule is going to change. It's nice when they're like upfront and they try to tell people, it's like, it's as easy as it is to see that way, that they don't get like a special treatment thing. I like to believe that that's not the case, but you always want to be skeptical, right? But like, obviously some people might get something a bit more beneficial or special treatment on the server. I don't think that CG is reaping that reward of something what seems to be in chat and Reddit's minds every like 2 days. I don't know. But circling back, yep, so DW is no longer a part of Nopixel. And I guess I couldn't find anybody talking about it other than like a one-off, but there was something where he like released a bunch of data, a bunch of Nopixel related stuff. Or he leaked something. I don't know. It's all interesting. It's all interesting, and there's a lot that goes on. There's a lot that goes on in RP. So I'm hoping that we get to do this hopefully twice weekly. There was something about player info being downloaded. That's what I heard. Rumor is it's enough to make a new whitelist on a new server. But those are all the topics that I brought up today that I felt like were worth talking about. We could just hang out with chat, get your guys' opinions on stuff too. Semi-open forum here. I honestly think that would be happenstance. This is talking about my CG comment. I honestly think that would be happenstance. High viewership on certain things brings attention to issues. Admins and devs might want to change. And that could just happen to be CG due to high viewership. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. That was always something that was in the back of my head too. It was like, well, yeah, when you have more eyeballs on you and when things like scuff out, something like that. If I did a bank, right, and I'm playing my crim character, if I'm doing a bank with my 10 viewer average and one out of the other 5 people robbing the vault with me, right? One out of the 5 are also streaming to a similar view count. It will just say that this is like a dead time on the server, so the chances that there's an admin watching are like lower. Yeah, things aren't going to get on the fly taken care of for us if something scuffs out. Or maybe not even at all, because sometimes scuff just happens and admins don't step in often. I was thinking about it yesterday when the first vault got hit, and they tried to break in like the first gate. This was back when the vault used to look like how it did when 3.0 launched. Not how it looks now, but like the first gate that's like right next to the tellers, like all the way over to the right and like the far end of the room. They went to use I think they tried to thermite it open, and it just didn't work. And so I think it was Dean Watson walked out from like off camera from like a hallway and was like, "Hello boys, I'm just gonna come unlock this door, just a part of my bankly duties." And you know, scuff being taken care of like that. But that was also the first vault being hit, right? A lot of people's eyes were on that, because it was like that was like a key moment in 3.0, right? A historic part, you know, world first at the vault, pushing on the heist progression. It's all good stuff. Oh, that's what I want to do. I wanted to go look at hashtags and Reddits and stuff like that and see if anything popped up overnight while I was sleeping before we did the show. Usually avoid stuff outside RP, so you don't know much about meta. So morning meta, it's just a catchy alliteration word or like phrase, right? I'm not here to tell the meta, not in the sense that here's what's happening in the general sense of GTA, not meta, and here's what's happening in this character's story that nobody else should know about. Like, this is definitely more so the stuff that you can't avoid as a role player. The things that encompass your YouTube feeds and your and are constantly on Twitter when you open it up. TikToks, yep. There's also a time when was hacking and the computer got eaten by the floor. I wish that could get fixed. I wish that was something simple to fix. It'd be like, oh, if we lower the world's floor by like 2 pixels, it'll fix it. I wish. Doesn't look like anything that would be like a headline happened, which is good, honestly. A quiet night for Grand Theft Auto roleplay is marginally good. Oh, I completely skipped one of the topics that I had here. A lot of people are talking about the potential of a hardcore coming up. Hardcore server, rather. I'm excited. I want a hardcore server. Now, what hardcore means is up for debate, right? I've heard everything range from people wanting just much more enforcement on people who are actually role-playing versus doing a bunch of crazy shit, to people saying they want things to just be more realistic, like 100% chance you blow out all your tires when you send it off of a 100-foot drop. No, I did not see the clip about EMS on the hardcore server. I was always wondering what that was going to look like. And then I saw people who wanted to be like to quote Kimchi on Twitter, He wants it to be like Diablo, hardcore, where if you die, that's it.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of changes that'll come through that people were sort of
Let's see this.
worried about doing that were logical. Don't you worry. So one of the things being discussed is like for hardcore as well. You're not going to be able to slash. So for the first few minutes, you can slash 311 or 911, whatever, while you're not unconscious, and then you fall into an unconscious state where you can't even talk. So,
Oh, shit behind me.
and if you don't get treatment within that 5 to 10 minutes, like if the ambulance gets there and they do treatment, you lose less of your body health, I guess. So it's advantageous to want to be around medical and around people and shit like that. That's one of the ideas we're floating around. Also, with the medical system being revamped to use body damage like the old ones.
Please tell me this one has gas.
It works, bro! This one works! Isn't 5 minutes kind of short? No, it isn't. So 5 minutes is just, the first 5 minutes is where you're still in a conscious state. So you can talk to EMS or slash, 311, slash 911, whatever, right? Then after that, you start to fall unconscious. So EMS can still get to you, but they might not be able to find you is the thing, right? So you get it.
I thought I missed something. I was getting food.
2 EMS in the server. Well, police will be able to do the same shit. They'll be able to transport you to hospital. But I think there'll be more EMS because we're doing an actual EMS system now. I do like the idea of the medical side of things being a little more in depth like they were in 2.0, but everyone didn't really like it because it fucked up a lot. But, ouch, my spine high, but it'll pay off as an injured person to talk to EMS and say, hey, I actually have a broken arm. I need treatment on that arm, and they'll be able to treat it, take you to hospital and shit like that. So sometimes you're going to get injured and you won't have you won't have like a broken limb. EMS will be able to come to you, just revive you, get you up and say, you're good to go. Don't worry about it. So for instance, if you get your ass beat, if you have a car accident, a lot of the times you're not actually going to be severely damaged. Whereas if it's a shooting, you're going to get fucked up. So, it's going to be a lot more. The tools will be there to create RP with the medics instead of it being fucking awkward, which is what it is now.
I was yelling from the back. I was yelling from the back, cheering, hooting, and hollering. Up until that last part where he said it's awkward, where it's currently awkward. I don't think it's awkward right now, but yes. If the hardcore server has some sort of separation of characters, like public does, I will more than for sure bring back EMS Tommy Malarkey on hardcore. I got shot 30 times in a vest, just some bruising. It is awkward. Well, it's awkward in the sense that, like, if someone goes in and they expect a version of ER, the television show, yeah, it's going to be awkward. But this kind of almost circles back to what I was talking about with Benny's, where it's like, yeah, like it's unrealistic that a man comes running out from a closet and comes and repairs the body of your car in 30 seconds and repairs the engine of your car in 30 seconds, right? But that's just because that's just game mechanics. But I can still use my imagination and be like, when I go to Benny's, a man comes and works on my car and does some light work on it, right? So, I mean, yeah, you have to lend yourself to server mechanic, you have to lend yourself a little bit to how the game works and how the game is played, and meld that with your imagination a bit, right? Because if anybody got shot 30 times in the chest, they'd die. So the amount of people that would perma from what is a daily interaction in Grand Theft Auto roleplay, I mean, that's just like you have to kind of lend yourself to stuff like that. And on hardcore, if those are the EMS mechanics that he wants to do, I think they're fantastic. I think it's great. I like the idea of EMS having to put on their detective hats when they can't find somebody, or if somebody is unconscious, like he was saying, where they can't even talk, and it, you know, mutes them on in game. I like the idea of that, where it's like you have to figure out what happened, because what if it's also like if you drop somebody while escorting them, it could hurt them more, right? You have to figure out how careful you need to be with the patient, things like that. I am ready for when the hardcore server opens up for the first 2 weeks to just be people permaing characters like it's nobody's fucking business constantly, and then just starting anew or going back to whitelist. Or how that 30 times to the vest can happen multiple times in a day, so it's a give and take for the sake of game meta. Yeah, for sure. I could see like a light, what's the word I'm looking for? A light enforcement of like, don't go over the top unless you like truly mean to. And like this could lend yourself to like serial killer shit. But like as a cop, like when you shoot somebody down, just shoot them twice in like shoot them until they're down. It doesn't mean shoot them in the foot 30 times, you know, like things like that. It'll be interesting to see what serial killer RP looks like on the hardcore server, and I hope that they enforce what wild RP enforces, where you need to get admin approval for serial killer characters. Obviously, I would like to see the more reigning champions of the serial killer world, your Owl Odysseys of the world. I would love to see them just kind of get a pass to just go ahead and just start that off right when they want. But yeah, I hope that they enforce something like that for serial killer RP. But when it does get pulled off, it's gonna get pulled off really fucking well. I hope they find a way to get better location tracking for 911s with that. Yeah, I hope that for EMS, and maybe people don't even know, because like when you're playing a cop, right? You get your 911 circles and your shots fired circles and your 37 alpha circles, like all your circles stack on top of each other on the map. Whereas for EMS, if even if the 911 like GPS cycle of 911A, we're gonna call it, is still going, and then 911B comes in 5 seconds after that, you lose the entirety of 911A. So I'm hoping that we can have multiple GPS circle triangulations at the same time. I think it'd be great. Poor James Randall's shoulder would be gone. James Randall, I think after about 20 minutes on the hardcore server, would one of two, if not both things happen, get sent to Parsons for life, and also lose his entire arm. I'd love to see Fear return to SKRP. Like, it's a legitimate threat to anyone that isn't laughed off like it can be now. Yeah. I think that one thing that nobody's talking about is that the hardcore server could return some glory to good storytelling versus the SK, the serial killer stuff. Lifer James Randall Parsons would be quite funny on hardcore. Thing is that not a lot of people end up going to Parsons, right? So I think that James Randall was sentenced to life in prison for something, and Spaceboy rolled with just being James Randall being a lifer. I think that could be fine. I think that'd be great. But with that said, now I have actually gone through all my topics on my topics list. I am ready to get on out of here. It's a short stream and it's a short show, but I feel like it's just a good way for people who want to, a good way for some people to start their mornings, you know, or something a little bit more bite-sized. People who don't, you know, I hate calling it a podcast, but it is kind of like a podcast. I mean, this is more, I'm trying to go for like a couple different angles here. But I'm hoping that I can do this at a minimum of twice a week, or I guess a minimum of once a week. So for the chat, go ahead and toss me out some suggestions on who we're gonna go visit, and I will see you all tonight for a normal stream. Okay, bye bye.